ban the Kaja, we'll ban the Kufra. Let's see who has more heroes to play with. And I think, unfortunately for Beloy, it should be Keyboy with hero pool. Here, Mars, there's a comment. Being the half-season champion isn't our target. What matters is our stable performance.
But they did it.
6 rosters, by the way. 6 different rosters for Onic this season.
They really do the trial and error from the Onic roster, but they still got the first position during the half season.
That's what I was going to say. Like, the ironic thing is they have what it takes. They are allowed to do it. Even though they've been changing things up, even though their performance has been up and down, you would say, not as stable as we usually know Onic to be, they're still #1 in the half season. Now they're #2 with RRQ picking it up. But if Onic can bring this win in the bag, it might be a little bit more level. And as expected here, with the Fredrin takeaway from the side of Geek Fam, Onic have opted to take the Beatrix as well as the Irithel out of the lane against the Melissa. And I'm wondering, against the Melissa, without so much dive coming in from Onic right now, do you think Leslie is an option for Geek Fam to utilize?
Leslie doesn't do too well against the Melissa, but sure, it can be picked up. What I'm thinking about now, knowing that there's already a Kaja on the team, is a carry. The Kaja carry combo, a lockdown and burst from the carry, is something that we have seen many times before. Now, the carry doesn't do well against the Melissa. Gets absolutely bullied, but there's a way to just survive in the laning phase, and I think that might be what they're going for. No! The Brody, like you mentioned, Colius, is going to be the choice. So it's still Kaja and a burst marksman, but they want an early snowball to happen. They want to take the game in the mid-game. This is what the Brody pick signifies.
I think we need to calculate the stopper moment too, because Brody can use the corrosive strike to stopping against Onic if they want to play very aggressively. Yep, the smooch. But
what is the smooch like? I thought he wasn't going to do it. I thought Colius wasn't going to do it, but yes, continue.
But yeah, I think Mortis will be a good option for Onic jungler right now, because the Ashura Aura, Mortal Coil is really important to dodge against all of the CC from the Geek side.
I think I have a little bit of a fun fact. I think this is the first time that Jadera has actually picked up the Brody.
What?
So that is quite interesting here. Onic picking up the Kufra as well as the Bane. That's a lot of disengage, and that's a lot of momentum taken when the Cult Altar does get popped. Should be able to displace them in these team fights.
Yeah.
But Geek, oh man, Geek with the Terizla.
That's actually a good pick. Like, the Terizla is a good pick for the Melissa, not for Geek Fan, because you can actually cancel out the penalty zone entirely.
Yeah, and it's gonna be different from the game #1, because now Geek Fam cannot play very aggressively like before. They didn't using 2 magical damage on the mid lane, and they are not using the box here. Lancelot is a good hero to dive in, but it's gonna be risky if no one follow up Lancelot.
So what do you think? As long as the Melissa uses the skin, you know the skin.
Nobara?
Yeah. She's amazing.
You and your obsession with Nobara, man.
But yeah, we gotta see on this game #2, are Onic gonna make this 1-2-1, or it's gonna be 2-0? Because the emblem selection. Now, the Lancelot is using the same emblem with like Albert before.
Man, if Geek Fam win this against Onic, that is a huge flex onto Albert. The baby alien from RRQ coming into the fray of Sky Kings as the jungle. And that would be a huge mess to his ego. As we welcome you, ladies and gentlemen, to game #2 of Geek Fam and Onic.
And like I mentioned before, it's gonna be dangerous because Geek Fam might be not playing too aggressively to dive into the Onic jungler like on the first game, because it's gonna be dangerous. But Kaja, they need to like put all eyes on the Baloyski, because Baloyski is using a pick-off hero, and it's gonna be dangerous if the Divine Judgment happening. A lot of heroes can following up Baloyski movement.
I agree, but that is when he gets that level 4. Earlier on, I do believe that there is a certain amount of power in the formation coming in from Onic with a pick-off as well as that early game damage from Sans, but here it is.
Well, Flicker early there from Beloy, just getting the slow down, and it's a big Flicker resource burnt out. Not too sure about that worth, but they were looking for first blood. Keyboy even saved his Flicker. So yeah, again, big win for Onic. Oh, Beloy able to escape for now, but Albert was the one who secured that jungle creep. And it's still just a very, very aggressive early game start for both, but no kills.
What I'm really concerned about is the fact that earlier on in game number 1, Geek Fam, they were able to pressure Albert on the Lancelot heavily. But this time around, no one has been able to actually penetrate into the defenses, and Niall still farming a storm against Albert on the Bane.
And on the first contest, Bane and Lancelot, both of them are two strong heroes for the contest. One can using the Tone Rose and the Retribution, and one can using the Deathly Catch. So it will give it a knockback effect on the enemies.
Who has a better advantage though, Kolios, in these particular scenarios?
50-50.
50-50? All right, so both of these teams are looking for 50-50 as they are all collapsing onto the turtle.
Beautiful Thorn Rose to dodge away from the Tyrant's Revenge, but does seem like Onic have more control here. Defensive Phantom Execution used up. Meanwhile, whoa, where's Luke at? That's a flicker used up, no penalty. Oh, he still has the penalty zone. But both teams are actually not going to go for it just yet. Kibo with a good Tyrant's Revenge, locking Luke down. No flicker, but he does have that penalty zone. He's saving it. Wow, the calculations from Luke.
And Boots and Keyboy know it. That's why they didn't want to dive into the outer bottom turret. It's gonna be dangerous if penalty zone have been used.
K-Boy, no ult just yet, no rage to play with. Beloy, on the other hand, has that Divine Judgment. Oh, Niall gets splashed with some damage. Sans dealing a lot. Phantom Execution used up with the Cold Altar as well. Now giving them a lot of HP. Retribution, but the Tyrant's Rage is timed perfectly onto it. Divine Judgment defensively, but Boots runs him down. Beloy, 1 HP under the turret. That's a DPC, and it saves Beloy! Niall picks up the first blood. It's a big W for the Geeks.
Oh, huge trade here for the side of Geek Fam, being able to pick up a member as well as that neutral objective. And you saw that Albert was a little bit late to the party. He came in after he was forced to clear in that mid side, and when he did, Niall already used that Retribution to pick it up for himself.
Yeah, it's a little bit miscommunication, but look at on the mid lane now.
Flicker out.
Almost. Yeah,
Well,
because he's using the flicker that will needs to come out. If not, he will take him down. But back to the topics that where Albert is late to joining the first turtle. That's the problem because Onic cannot contest it very well. And Geekbomb got 1 turtle and 1 kill points.
Wouldn't you expect that at this point Onic will look for something different on the map? Is it required for them to contest these neutral objectives if they're kind of behind in rotations?
There's a different option that maybe they can move to the gold lane, Eterna. That they can like having pressure to Chadera and making CW doing the plating. So it can lead the gold, but yeah, first turtle. All of the turtles right now is really important.
Wait, that damage. Torn apart memory used up as well. CW taken very low. And this is what you can see from a very good Brody player. Never afraid to use that torn apart memory as poke. You don't need to just use it as an execute.
We have a fun fact here by Grab. Wait a minute, Albert.
Oh, that's a lockdown, but the Cold Altar saves him. Chadera with the solo kill. Up top with a good flicker in. Now, oh boy, with the Stampede, bringing both of them back under the turret. Chadera with the torn apart memory, but the Cold Altar comes in and Sans splashes Chadera, finding a kill. Keyboy with a Tyrant's Revenge, but it is a boy who finds a kill onto Albert. A 2-for-1. Definitely still value for Geek Fam.
And that pushes them to 1,100 gold lead here in the first 5 minutes of the game. Again, the same story here. Geek Fam holding control in the early game. Boots trying to do what he can, but in the end, it's gonna go over to Geek. Again, another turtle.
Especially the two who down are the jungler and the gold lane. It's a really important role, and Geekbam is getting another turtle.
Ooh, you see that? Boots actually got the gold buff.
Small win.
Small win.
A little bit small.
Goni would say
Yeah.
it's small wins builds up. That's the copium in Goni
That's
right
the
now.
copium in
But
Goni
yeah,
right now.
If we see at the goal difference, I think it's not too far away. So Onic successfully still farming.
Tyrant's Revenge and the Rage used up. No Inspire though, so there's no actual kill threat. Beloy just walks out, and Luke has rotated from the bottom lane all the way to the top lane. We have an audience prediction here, and wow, I think this is the first time ever that you see Onic and Geek at what, 50-50?
Super close.
Super close.
But this was wonderfully done by Chidera in the top lane. He knew exactly his role on the Brody was. Siege, siege, farm, siege, get some damage onto CW pressure him just a little bit. And the fact that he's been able to succeed in the top lane, he now rotates towards the bottom lane. And notice that Voloisky has been very close to him. He's protecting Chadera here, making sure that he doesn't get punished in the first few minutes of the game.
Because Brody didn't need the items on the early game to shine. As we know, the Torn Apart Memory is already being painful.
Good vision from Voloisky. He's going to be engaged on though in the back. The Phantom Executions connects Cole Ultra versus Cole Ultra, but Niall's able to get them down. Divine Judgment onto Boots, very low. Consecration gets him back to half.
Wow, they still want the team fight, and the kiting is really good using the Cult Altar to make them back and go away without any kill points from both of the teams.
Whoa.
Almost cancelled by the go away. CW using this really well, but wow, Niall still wants to go in. Inspire used up by CW for the sustain! Penalty zone! CW is 0-2-1.
Well, it's a hard time for CW but in exchange, Onic got the third lore, so there is no perfect turtle for Geek Farm right now. It's how they need to make CW fat. They need to make CW do the farming.
Seems like Geek Fam are just taking all the resources away, not giving them the necessary space to look for that CW power spike. How far is he from hitting that power spike? Oh, he's actually quite close. The Golden Staff should be built in around the 9th minute.
He's super behind though. Okay, so he's behind in like 400 gold. That's not too bad actually.
That's not too
CW is catching up finally. Voloisky here does look like he is looking for a play. But what are we expecting here from Onic? Do we just wait on CW's power spike, or is there something else that can be done?
That's the first thing, and the second thing is waiting for the initiation from Voloisky if they want to play the counter setups playstyle. That's really important, because if they want to initiate first, they need to be careful, because Divine Judgment can stop anything in front of it.
Interesting.
And does Suns just keep using the Cult Altar? Is that the most value that he can get in the composition that Geek Fam brought?
It depends. If he wants to do the team fight, yes, Cult Altar is the answer. But if he wants to play the pick-off game, maybe he can steal the Divine Judgment.
You're right. I mean, I think there's also another choice, right? There's also the penalty zone that we've seen many times before. But yeah, you're right. I think for the most part, Cult Altar is a bit too valuable to let go.
Yeah, because they already have enough CC from the Deadly Catch, from the Tyrant Rage or Tyrant Revenge. I think penalty zone is the third option to be stolen from IMU.
That makes sense. But looking at these items, it doesn't make too much sense for me. Brody leading that much. Is he only ahead in one item?
Yeah. But that's what makes Brody so good. You don't really need a lot of gold, like Goldie's already mentioned. You just wait for that power spike, and even if you don't get any kills in the laning phase, as long as you're able to clear it out and siege the turrets down, that's a big W. Divine Judgment. Penalty zone used up as well. Already, there's a lot of things just thrown out here with the Cole Ultra on a 2 of both of the teams used up. Thorn Rose getting CW low. Boots able to escape. Tyrant's Rage onto 2, but there's no real follow-up. CW still playing in the back. Torn Apart Memory to be used up in the Phantom Execution. To the back, finds 3. Onic forced back, and Keyboy is taken to 1 HP with that bloody retribution from Niall.
1-4-0 trade here for the side of Geek Fam. Boots trying to open up vision and give information towards his team, but in the end, I do not think that he is going to be able to make a miracle play happen. But look at this, Albert is actually re-entering this. It's going to be a 50-50. Albert, they want to go for it.
Tyrant's Revenge, lock and loop down. There you go, that's a deadly catch. Niall versus Albert, but Valoy does not. He's waiting for it. Oh, it's a stampede into a penalty zone! Into a Torn Apart Memory! The Wombo combo from Geek Fam. Now it's a go away from CW, forcing them in this tight spot. Now there's a lot of damage pulled in by the Muddles. CW versus the world. Now it's a Phantom Execution onto the back. CW eating up that damage, but it has the Inspire to sustain back up 1v1. CW with a shutdown and a triple kill.
Adrenaline can kill you, man. Because they already got the Lord, and as we know, Melissa is a very good heroes when the kiting happens. They try to aim CW with all of the resources that they didn't have. CW got the triple kill, so it's a really not a good trade by trading it with the Lord itself, but it's a really nice penalty zone.
Oh, the way that entire team fight collapsed on one another, the usage of the resources, the timing. That was just wonderful. It was a symphony of just skills coming in from Geek Fam. Unfortunately, like you guys mentioned, CW being able to get the better of it. That would have ended so much worse for Onic had that not happened. But still, in the end, at the end of the day, it's Geek Fam going in.
Oh, torn apart memory to the back boots. Oh, saved by the Cult Altar. Just in time. That's a very good disengage from Onic. They're able to defend the tier 2 in the bottom lane, but they lose out the tier 2 in the mid and top. So it's still a win for Geek Fam. Keyboy charging. Niall able to dodge away from that with the Thorn Rose, and both teams, again, are chill.
I think it's a ticking bomb for Geek Fam, Miracle. If it's dragged to the late game with Keyboy initiation, with CW, Geek Fam gonna facing a hard time because they didn't have any like late game superhero that they pick.
Keyboy was a bit too aggressive there, but he doesn't get punished by Divine Judgment. Beloy doesn't have it up though. Now some good hits onto Niall, and Niall just eats it up. Orange buff, they should give this to CW now. He has hit that power spike, but no, they still give it to Albert. Huh, okay.
Dude, that would have been a disaster if the Divine Judgment was up.
It would have been punished for sure.
Because Geek Fam need to counting on the Cult Altar later. Without Cult Altar, without the Divine Judgment from Beloy, they need to like go back first, maybe doing the kiting game, because Onic will really strong. Please remember that Sans is using Valentina, can stole a lot of useful resources from the Geek Fam. Depends on the needs.
So, I don't think Beloy wants to go for that Divine Judgment on Keyboy. It's a very expensive resource, unless Keyboy is super isolated.
Well, they super isolated is hard for Keyboy, I think, Miracle, because Keyboy is a good player who try to always like looking for another gap. A little bit gap for Keyboy is enough for him to make the initiation. Like he will aim for the backline of the enemies, like for Aboy or even Chadera. That's why Geek Fam needs to put all eyes on where is Keyboy later during the team fights.
I agree. That's definitely information that Geek Fam really need to understand before they commit into the team fights. But I believe that Geek Fam have been adapting really well towards Onic. They see that Onic rotating with a 4-1, they rotate with 3-2. Lancelot putting pressure in the top side. We saw earlier on that Terizla was controlling that bottom side. And in these long, drawn-out team fights, especially for the neutral objective, which is exactly what we're seeing on screen, it might be the exact same scenario that we saw in game number 1, where Onic tunnel vision. Let's hope that they don't make the same mistake twice. Albert level 15, Niall level 15. The only difference is Niall doesn't have his ultimate up just yet, but look at the Lord already at half health.
And even Beloy's healer. He's prepared to do the flanking games. He will try to pick out CW later. But Boots is the attention seeker. He needs to put all eyes on Boots, so the Geek Vams didn't need to pay the attention where Keyboy is at.
That's a reset. Boots has done enough. He's actually backed Niall out. And that's a torn apart memory. A penalty zone even used up. A bit too aggressive, I feel like. That's a deadly catch. Now from Albert to disengage. And for both of these teams, they will reset again. But Geek Fam are still holding on to that Lord. They're trying to get it to a position where it's easily reset here. Beloy's trying desperately, but look at Boots just standing closer to the Lord, not giving Geek Fam aggro. Keyboy charging the Tower's Revenge. A good spot out with the Muddles. As Luke gets chunked with 2 basic attacks. Just with the Muddles though. Beloy looking for another opening. Niall going in. Boots dashing forward, trying to bait in the penalty zone onto the back. CW did not pop the goal away in time, but the Divine Judgment is stolen away by Saz, and he finds the kill in Tyler's range, onto the back. But CW is not in range to go for anything. No Inspire, a boy the flicker in. The Shadow Stampede brings them back for the damage from Chadera, but a Terrify delays this inevitable end for Keyboy. 3-4-1, the Lord also in favor of Geek Fam.
Again, Luke do his magic. Using the penalty zone, using the flicker is a really important moment that he can catch a lot of heroes that make Onic surprised. So the initiation from Luke being followed up by the Geek Fam teams very, very well.
I need to mention something though, right? Even though Geek Fam were able to get 3 members from the side of Onic plus the Lord, Onic was able to get 3 towers just from lane management alone. Sans was able to slow push the top side. We saw that Boots was able to slow push the bottom side. And throughout that entirety of how that all happened, they had to lose 3 turrets, almost losing 4. And those kinds of trades, sure, in the grand scheme of things, it does favor... Wait, in the short scheme of things, it favors Geek Fam. But in the long term, it favors Onic. So they have to be careful about their housekeeping as Niall goes in with the conceal.
Conceal from below. Oh, he finds Keyboy. Drags him back. The deadly catch in time. But Keyboy gets slain by Luke. That's a massive pickoff. CW the models. Deja vu to Echo versus Onic and MSC. The same exact scenario. CW dealing damage. That's a divine judgment that Sans stole away. And he pulls Niall back to give Onic another kill and a breath of relief.
At least they get the one base turret from the top lane. And it's really important that Geek Fam needs to reset it right now. With a lot of minions coming, are they gonna like push it to another team fights? Because Chadera...
Oh, divine judgment, Boots. A bit too much that he could chew. Luke with penalty zone, torn apart memory! Takes Boots down, but CW does a lot of damage with the models and the Inspire. Not enough, however, to take any of the Geek Fam members down.
Not just yet, but it does give them the space that is required. And one thing that we need to take in consideration is the fact that Geek Fam, they're lacking the amount of wave clear that Onic has. Onic has CW, Onic has Albert with his deadly catch as well to clear these out. So in a siege situation, I do believe that Onic has a little bit of an edge.
But I don't know what kind of decision that Onic had right now, because they are like, go with the flow that Geek Fam created. Because every time Geek Fam try to initiate, every time Geek Fam want to bait Onic to do that movement, like it's like Onic following the movement itself. Go with the flow.
You know what I was thinking just now?
What?
This is a rematch of MPLID Grand Finals. No, MPLI Grand Finals.
MPLI Grand Finals, yeah.
Yeah. It was Geek
The latest
Fam.
MPLI.
But that was with Jana, and actually Onic were with Samo. Yeah, I remember that. But here, it's a completely different roster. No Kyrie, no Samo, no Jana QT, who's now back to his old name, Hades. And yeah, no Drian, it's Sans.
Man, I'm wondering, can Geek Fam go 2-0 against the MSC champions? Geek Fam, did they make it to playoffs last season? They did, but barely, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, they were sent home on the first day against EVO's Legends. Reverse swept, if you remember. But now with a new jungler in their hands who has matured and improved so much since his first debut in MPL Indonesia, they're looking to get is this the first win ever against Onic?
It's looking to be it. If Onic can't look for the proper engage, Luke has been astoundingly annoying, especially onto Albert in these neutral objective takes. But look at the Lord, it's so low. We're moments away of pulling the trigger.
And it's a really important Lord because it's already evolved. That can help if Onic got it, but if Geek Fam got it, it's gonna be the end if a lot of heroes from Onic getting picked off by Aloy.
Penalty zone onto the back, CW still free hitting in the back though now. Niall moving forward, finding the kill. Luke gets a call alter, torn apart memory gonna be used up as the Lord gets reset. Now to Divine Judgment, no, it's actually Winner Truncheon to evade from it. And the models are still placed down. Keyboard with the Tarn's Revenge, no Flicker committed down. No Albert though, this is free for Onic, no for a Geek. Niall finds it. Beautiful retry. I thought CW would have been able to zone them away, but it's not enough.
That's a really important movement when Geek Fam successfully picked off Albert before the Lord contest is happening. And now Onic being pushed to playing the defensive game again. Are they gonna successfully defend it right now?
I mean, for all the Onic, just Sonics all around the world, let's hope so. Again, the wave management, half of the base turret was taken down, and the Lord is marching down in the top side as well. CW, he needs to be able to be facilitated in these particular team fights. If not, we'll see the exact same story as we did earlier on in that Lord fight.
Yeah, because using Inspire, it's not easy to get out from the penalty zone Eterna, so he needs to be careful about his positioning. He's not been caught by Luke or even Beloyski.
CW is an absolute menace every single time in these kind of situations. Look at him. Oh, Beloy is looking for it. Gets caught in the Tarn's Revenge right now. Gets knocked up, but the call alter saves his life. Boots getting brought back to the team, but still has that immortality. Now back again. Consecration. Tournament memory and a stolen penalty zone. CW again saving Onic from their demise. It's another splash of damage from Sans to take Luke down. Onic, the defense has happened again.
It starts from Keyboy's movement. With the good Tyrant revenge that Onyx see the moment and stalling the penalty zone using the IMU is really important for Sans. He's even using his flicker to like locking a lot of heroes from Geek Fam, and now they got the momentum.
Oh man, Keyboy on his signature Kufra. We never expected, and yet the unexpected happens over and over as they go for the siege this time around.
Oh, that's a splash though. A boy finds a shutdown. It's two! A boy with a double! It was CW earlier, now it's a boy, and it's Malloy with a Divine Judgment pulling. Keyboy back, turns revenge. Niall able to evade from it though with a good puncture out. Now Keyboy losing the immortality. Boots looking to get him out. There's a Cold Altar from a boy to save his own life. But the Cold Altar will run out, and Niall will keep on going. Sans has a Divine Judgment, but it only connects onto a boy. And Niall assassinates Sans.
No way. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 members are off the board for the Yellow Porcupines. The main damage dealers are all gone. Boots and Keyboy. What in the world can they do? Just the 2 of them alone.
Boots is pulling the minions. He's successful at that. He's pulling the minions again, but Divine Judgment will be able to lock him down finally. Boots in the back. Now Slammer to torn apart memory. Niall jumping in. Keyboy trying to make a miracle play. The Geeks have taken down the team above the sky, dragging them down to the depths.
It's like deja vu. We see it yesterday when Alter Ego against our RRQ. They successfully defend it. They tried to go into the RRQ base, but look at that. With that split decision, it's a really important